MK and I am scrapping on a ship today. I am also joining Rebecca and Miranda for a Paw Your Way into Our Hearts, and my layouts are inspired by a layout made by Gwen Wruck. She is created by Gwen on YouTube and as well as Instagram, and she also owns the cut file shop Cut to You. So go check her out. I'll have all her links down below, as well as all the links for the May I Scraplift You hop, as well as the Paw Hop. So I'm just sharing with you guys a few of the elements I'll be using in my layout today. I've got a stencil from Dusty Attic, as well as my Wild Honey and blending brush. And then I've got these chicken photos. I'm not going to be doing a puppy or a kitty. I've got chickens and lizards today, you guys. So we found these chickens on the island of Coco Cay, or they found us actually. So for the chicken layout, I'm going to be using It's a Girl by Echo Park, and I've got these two scraps left over, as well as these scraps left over from the Simple Vintage Coastal Collection, and then my film strip that's from the Sunburst by 49 and Market. And I absolutely love the ombre going from orange down into that really bright pink and all the little splatters. Oh my gosh, I was thrilled. And you should see the one that I picked out for the lizard. It's awesome. From my cruise kit that I picked up on the ship, I'm going to be using this hibiscus paper, and I'm going to be using it in both areas for a little strip as well as for the background of my photo. So I'm going to have everything on white, and then I'm going to mount it on this bright, fun, colorful paper. I also have this stencil here. This one is a close to my heart stencil. It's kind of hard to see because it's totally see-through, but it was a set of in a 12 by 12, and I chopped them up and cut them apart. So I've got bundled sage. Oops, I don't know what's going on with my video. I apologize. But I've got bundled sage, and these are the lizard photos that Janet took, well, the other Janet, and I printed out all three. I'm just not sure. I know I'm only going to do two, and I think I want the one where it shows his whole body and you can see how long his tail is. Check out this ombre film strip. Oh my gosh, so fun. Also from It's a Girl and the Simple Vintage Coastal Collection, I've got these scraps going on here, my white cardstock, and then I have this green paper from the Simple Vintage Coastal, and I'm going to use a strip of this hibiscus paper for my chicken layout. So I'm going to be doing two 8.5 by 11 layouts. I pulled out this wax paper because I had some funny titles going on in my head, but in the end, I could not make them say what I wanted them to say. So I opted to just not do any titles and just use the wordy bits that all come in all the collections and whatnot. So that is what I did. So I have, I cut my white cardstock down to 8.5 by 11, and then I realized, silly goose, my colored paper is going to be 8.5 by 11, and my white paper needs to be smaller. So I decided to do a 1/4 inch border around so I could actually see the white cardstock. I wasn't too sure on how much I really wanted, but I thought that that was a perfect size. So I'm going to go ahead and trim my white cardstock down even more so I can get that going. These will not be side by side. In my album, they're actually going to be front to back. So you'll see the chicken layout, and then you'll see the lizard layout, or the lizard first and then the chicken later. I don't know, whichever comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Which is weird. They both come from eggs. That's cool. So anyways, I have my layouts all set up. I just need to decide on photos now. So I'm going to go ahead. I think I want this one where the chickens are walking around our picnic tables. And then the other photo that I'm picking where the chickens are walking in the path is from Janet, who is Galaxy Girl Creations here on YouTube. In the end, I end up cutting both my photos down to a 3x3, and then I'm going to mat them on the papers that I selected. So the large photo, I just fit true to size, or I printed true to size. So it wasn't exactly a 6x4 photo because our phones don't, it takes a random photo. What is it? 3.5 by 5 photo is what it's true to size. I believe that is what true to size is when you select it from you straight up from your phone instead of blowing it up to a 4x6. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the lizard that has his super long tail showing instead of the one where he's close up and you can just see his body. So, but I do have that photo because my kids think it's the coolest thing ever. The next thing I'm going to do is my little strips, and I'm going to, instead of having 4 paper strips, I'm going to have 3 paper strips, and then for my 4th paper strip, bring in that film strip, and I'm going to very lightly tack everything down because then I'm going to take everything to my sewing machine and sew it all down. So I thought, I was hoping that I could get away with just using my guillotine trimmer and having everything cut down nice and neat. But because my strips are, I want to say 9 and some change, I had to bring in this trimmer here, my cutter pillar. It's not my best friend, you guys. It really is not. I'm still in search of the perfect trimmer, and as much as I love your guys' suggestions, honestly, it is a personal choice, right? It is definitely what you are used to, what you how you craft and the works, you guys. It really is. And for me, I am looking for a base that looks like my guillotine trimmer. I want a printed base rather than a plasticky base that has the same color of grid as it is the base, and I have to add paint to it. I don't want to do that because then I find that it's only in 1/4 inch increments, and I really do like the 1/8 inch increments in my bases. So I'm looking for a printed base. We Are Memory Keepers came out with a guillotine that looks just like the one that I have that is 12 inches. I'm just not sure if I don't have that real estate to grant a 12-inch trimmer. I do like the arms that pull out. So basically, I want my cake and I want to be able to eat it too, even though I don't like cake. So, all right. So I put all my elements down and lightly put a couple little lines here and there, so that way I knew where to put my stenciling and where to not. And what I did was on the other side of my line, so on the side that's going to be covered up with items, I started my stenciling and then brought it out so it faded all out into. And I really do like that Dusty Attic stencil because it almost reminds me of the feathers of the chicken. So I really got a kick out of that one. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but to me today it's going to represent the feathers of the chicken. So now here's where I'm going to lightly tack everything down. So that way I can bring out my sewing machine. Now I almost left all of my sewing in the video. It was going to be super uber long. The video is already long as it is because I'm kind of doing a double pager. But the sewing portion was even longer because I had to do everything twice, and I really struggled with sewing on top of my photos. Like my foot was not feeding through. It was almost like it was slipping on the photo. I left scratch marks on my photo. It was just a hot mess. I still went with it. It added character to my photos, I guess. And you can only see it if you twist and turn the photos in the light. But I wasn't too happy with that part. And what I was going to do was sew the strips down and then glue the white paper onto the backing piece. So all you saw was the stitch line going around the white paper. But for the pink paper, or for the chicken paper, I forgot to do that. I lifted up my whole paper and started sewing my strips down on the pink. And because that pink paper is so super thin from the cruise ship, I just left it, and I thought, you know what? Thank my lucky stars that it was at least on there semi-straight. Oh my goodness. So here I'm going through all of my elements. I know I want to use this rub-on sheet. Now this rub-on sheet, the tropical leaves, are from the 49 and Market Beached collection. It's Simple Vintage Something Beached collection. And so vintage, no, it's not Simple Vintage. That's Simple Stories. Vintage artistry. Anyways, it's the Beached collection from 49 and Market. I apologize. I do know, I've heard a lot of rumor on Facebook and things that people are looking for this collection, and so it's really hard to find. So if you find pieces from the Beached collection, pick them up because it was a gorgeous collection, and I felt like it was undersold, in my opinion, because I barely saw it. When it first came out, I had no clue it came out, and then all of a sudden I was seeing everything. It's almost like buying a car, right? You don't really see that style of car until you buy it, and then you see 20 of them in a row on the same street. Yeah, it's crazy. So here I'm going to go ahead and just rough up. Now I'm using my finger because this piece of paper particularly is uber super thin, like copy paper thin. And I've explained it before. It's because it is promoting pocket cards, your pocket pages. And so when you do a pocket page, not me, but when you're supposed to do a pocket page, you want everything super thin. So that way it doesn't want to try to crawl out of the pocket and be pushed out of the pocket by the bulk. I personally just use a paper clip or some sort of way to secure my my page in the pocket because I like lump and bump and bulk and all the things, you guys, the distress, all of it. So I am adding a little bit of dimension to the layout by scuffing up the edges. I'll scuff up the edges of the white cardstock as soon as I am done sewing, but I wanted to get these prep work steps done and then finally get to the sewing part. I didn't want to stop and sew, prep. I just wanted to pull out the sewing machine once and then put it back. Now I do have a dedicated table for my sewing machine, but right now, ever since I started rearranging my craft room and trying to figure out where I want to finally live in my craft room, moving craft rooms is hard. I'm not gonna lie. For me, I thought it was going to be easy. I thought I had everything planned out and the way that I wanted it to work. I really thought that I had it all under control. And then I moved in and put everything where I envisioned it. And now I'm not liking it, right? So so little area at a time, I'm rearranging it, rethinking it, and things like that. And so I've gotten rid of a few things, and a couple things are too bulky for mailing. So once I go on my trip in July, I will be taking that stuff away, and then I'll get my sewing table back. So right now the sewing machine unfortunately lives on the floor, and I pull it up to this main desk, and then I thought, oh, that's cool, because then I can record it-ish, and slightly have it off camera, and then my paper, so you can kind of see the sewing portion of it. But like I said, it was uber super long trying to do that. So instead of me bringing the sewing machine in and out, I decided to go ahead and prep both of my pages and get them all ready to go for the sewing machine. And then by the magic of, what they say, TV, I will bring it back and it'll all be sewn in. Now, one of the things I noticed from Gwen's layout is that she used two different stitching for her photo and for her paper strips, and then she did a completely different stitch, at least that's what it looks like, around the white cardstock. So I'm going to go and do that. I used what I could find the closest to white, which is this very pale yellow. I stitched around my photos. They are terrible because I was just messing with my foot too much, and then stitched my papers in that yellow, and then I chose a colorful one that matched each border. So I've got like a coral color for my chickens, and I've got a lime green color for my lizard. So super fun. And then I decided, because I like dimension and I like things to pop up and be visible, and especially the shadow part of it. I really do like that part. I'm going to use the foam tape, Fun Foam from Walmart, and just go ahead and put everything together. But the first thing I do before I Fun Foam both pieces, if I have my photos overlap, I like to glue them together first, because sometimes I find when I try to fun foam the photos separately, then I have to pick that fun foam up, chop it off, waste a bunch of it, not a bunch, but waste some of it, and figure out how to get it to where I wanted it to overlap and I forgot or something like that. So I usually just tack my photos together really quickly and then use the fun foam behind. So I absolutely love 49 & Market's rub-ons. I really, really do. I don't know where Janet saw this lizard, but he is super cool and they are super great photos. Oh my gosh, I was so ecstatic when I saw this photo. All the cruisers were invited to either a Google photo album or a Apple photo album, and we shared the albums, we shared our photos. For that reason, or why we did that was because of the fact that some people took excursions that other people did not. Some people saw parts of the island that, because they were on an excursion, weren't able to go visit the island, things like that. And so we shared all of our photos, and I just love the fact that I have Janet and Janet's photos here, and then of course one of my photos, but mostly they are Janet's and Janet's. So yeah, it was just super fun. And like I said, the chickens graced us with their presence while we were having lunch. And it was just so funny. Here we are watching volleyball on this gorgeous beach and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, here's some chickens making their little clucking noises and stuff. And it was just so entertaining to watch them dive in and out. It's almost like the robins that we have at our local McDonald's looking for those little stranded fries that get dropped every now and then. So it just was so cute. And I don't know if they're wild chickens. I don't know if anybody actually lives on the island. I have no clue, you guys. I assumed nobody lived on the island and it was just a resort type of thing for visitors, right? That's all I assumed. But there's a large portion of the island that isn't visited by us. And so us being the tourists, right? So that they could be people or a guest house of where the people that work on the island actually stay, and things like that. So I have no clue, but it made us giggle, and we had fun watching between the chickens and the volleyball and everything else. It was super fun. So also too, in case you guys didn't know, Janet and I are hosting another cruise, scrapbook cruise in 2025. The 2026 one is still in the works. We have not picked a location. We haven't picked anything yet for 2026, but we are hosting one in 2025. We're going to the Western Caribbean this go around. If you guys are curious, I have a link down below for you guys to go check that out. So anyways, this is my layout. I guess the stitching around the photos is not too bad, but gosh, I struggled with it. I'm going to have to play with that a little bit more. I'm almost wondering if I would have, I don't know. I am not sure. I wonder, I'm thinking it was the slickness. Look, that one doesn't even look like it was stitched. It just looked like I laid a string down there. Anyways, let me know which one was your favorite, the chicken or the lizard. But I absolutely love both of them. I definitely love that stencil peeking out from all the little elements. I love the dimension. I love the stitching. I really did love pulling this inspiration from Gwen's layout. So thank you, Gwen, for sharing all of your great artwork with us, all of your awesome designs at your cut file shop. Thank you so much for all you do for this community. It is just great. Don't forget to check out all the links down below. Again, this is actually supposed to be a paw hop, which means we were supposed to be documenting our furry friends that are true to our hearts. But, because we were on vacation, I couldn't help it but document the fun creatures that we saw on our vacation. So super fun. All right, you guys. Also, too, I have the playlist link down below for May I Scraplift You. All the links down below for everyone playing along with the Paw Hop. And then, of course, Janet's channel link down below. So because she is scrapping on a ship with me all month long. Thanks, you guys. And I will check y'all later. Bye.